Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and today I'm going to be comparing 3 different Destiny's Bounty sets. We'll be comparing the Final Flight of the Destiny's Bounty from Possession in 2015, we'll be comparing the Destiny's Bounty from the LEGO Ninjago movie in 2017, and then we'll be comparing the brand new Legacy Destiny's Bounty from 2020. This is 3 of the 4 Destiny's Bounty sets that have ever been released, 3 of 5 if you count the Destiny's Shadow, and 3 of 6 if you count the Land Bounty. I do have the Shadow and the Land Bounty, but they are different enough that I'm not going to include them in this video, mainly because I don't have room on my desk for all of them. Because as you can see in front of you, I can barely fit these on my desk. That's why I'm not filming in my white background today, because this can barely fit on my desk, let alone the white background. So hopefully you guys don't mind desk shot. If you actually enjoy the background, maybe I can do this more often, because it's definitely easier than doing the white background. But I'm going to go through like different bits of these sets, like the deck and the head and the interior, and just compare them all and see which is the definitive best Destiny's Bounty. Because yes, I did my review of the new one and I gave my thoughts in that video, but I haven't compared them all like side by side. So I just want to compare them all and see how it's improved and how it has not improved throughout the years. I'm going to go in chronological order, starting with Possession, then the movie, then the new one, but I'm going to go bit by bit. So for example, I'll do the review the head of the Possession, then the head of the movie one, then the head of the new one, and then I'll move on to the next category. So you'll see like each bit compared back to back. So enough of me talking, let's get on to the video. Actually, not let's get on to the video. Before we get started, please press like and subscribe if you're new. I do LEGO videos every single day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Now, let's get on to the video. So starting with the Possession Bounty, here's an overall look at the thing. One big thing about this one is it's got this long thing sticking out of the mouth, and personally, I don't like it. It takes up way too much space that it doesn't need to take up. But it's got these cannons on the side. That's what the deck looks like. It's got this back area back here. And I think that's about it for the overview. Here we have the movie bounty, or what I would call the big boy, because oh my goodness, this set is gigantic. Like, I forgot how big this actually was, and I see it every day. Like, this is on display. But when I was comparing it with the other two, like getting them set up for the thumbnail and the intro to this video, this thing is huge. It's also like incredibly detailed, and yeah, I remember why I was so excited when this was revealed, because come on, look at this thing. Like, wow. And then here is the newest of the bunch, the brand new Legacy 2020 bounty. And spoiler alert, this might be my favorite of the bunch, honestly. Best set? No. But the best bounty? Yes. So the head on the Possession one, this head is pretty terrible, honestly. Even if I consider the 2012 one as well, I think this is the worst bounty head we've ever gotten. 2012 one did use that big rubber head, right? It still represented a dragon, even if it was like way too big. This is just like, it barely looks like a dragon, and compared to like how good the shaping can be, as we see on the other ones, it's not very good. And then this thing sticking out of its mouth does not do it any favors, so not a fan of the mouth here on this one. So here's the heads up front, and this was my main complaint with the bounty when it came out, was the 2 heads. Like, it looks good, definitely. I just wish it had the 1 head, because if this bounty had the 1 head, it would be the perfect bounty, but the show fan in me prefers the 1 head to the 2 heads. It's just kind of weird. I don't like this flat area in the middle. I get this is like the docking area, right, where the ninja could come on and off the ship, but I don't love that. It's just the flat area in the front just looks so weird, and they can also bounce it up and down for some reason. So the heads, not my favorite. The sculpting on the heads is really good, but I wish it was 1 head instead of 2. And here is the head for the Legacy bounty, and yeah, I love this design. It's crazy how like they could make a brick-built head this intricate, because, I mean, you saw the Possession bounty. That one was not very intricate. I remember people being upset that they didn't reuse the rubber head for that one, because, like, the rubber head looked better. But I think this is such a vast improvement over the rubber head. It feels more Lego-like, but still looks good, right? And it's 1 head. It's 1 bigger head. The 1 head is bigger than either of the ones on the movie bounty, and I love how it looks. I love how the boat comes to a center here for this head, and yeah, it's awesome. Also, in my review, I had the bottom part of his head upside down, but I have fixed that, so that's what it looks like properly. Moving on to the deck, we've actually got a decent bit of room here, but comparatively to the other ones, not very much. You got a few things right here to remove. We got this box full of like cannon bullets and a hat and a sword, so you can move that out of the way to have more room for figures. But even still, this mechanism for the transformation feature takes up so much space that there's not a ton of room to fit figures. You might be able to fit the 6th ninja on the deck, but not much else. And the other bounties have a lot more room there, so that's another like not so great bit. And then it's got these like 2 locked areas here where I suppose you can keep swords or something. Yeah, you can keep swords in these right here, but again, if I feel like it takes up unnecessary space. I would rather have more figure posability because the figure posability in this area is not very great. Here is the main like exterior ship space, and as you can see, I've got 3.5 figures on here, and there's still plenty of room for other figures, especially if you were to remove like these crates and that like teapot and that mug and everything. If you were to remove some of that stuff, you could fit so many figures here. So this build has so much room on it. Like, it's pretty impressive how much space there is to post figures here. So in terms of like size, yeah, this set definitely wins. I think there's no doubt about that. Like, look at that, just the sheer size of all that. How many studs is that? That's 12 studs wide in the middle. Like, that's so much. On the deck, we don't have a ton of room, but it's definitely more than the possession bounty, but obviously not as much as the movie bounty, but you still have lots. Like, I've got 7 figures here, right? I've got the 4 Ninja, Neo, Wu, and Lloyd's over here, and there's still plenty of other room to put some figures if you want, especially if you were to take out this cannon right here, you'd have extra room, right? And none of this is studs right here, but you could still put figures there, so I think there's more than enough room. Because, yeah, the movie bounty is more, but it also was, what, like $50 more or $30 more, so I'd expect more from that set than this one. But I think this is good. This is plenty. Like, yeah, it's not to scale with the show, but it's a good enough scale that it looks good, and I don't feel like I'm forcing figures in here. Like, I feel like I could place all 7 of these comfortably, and at max, like, I don't think you'd want any more than 9 on here anyway, and there's, one, like, right there and right there, 2 more spots where you can easily fit them, and if you have some in here, like, yeah, I think the deck space is good. Not as good as the movie bounty, but still very good. So with the sails, they have this transformation feature where they can be down like this, or if you pull in, they can rotate up like that. The bounty having transforming sails is like one of the main features of the bounty, but this is probably my least favorite of the transformation. Well, okay, the next one will be my least favorite transformation feature, but I don't like this one, how it just goes from one shape to out like that instead of going from like sailboat to flying ship. Like, these are both flying ship sails, so I don't love that. I like this piece right here though. This is a printed piece. It's a really big printed piece. It's actually a really cool one. I forgot this was included. That's so cool. I don't think it's ever been used anywhere else, so I like that piece. But the transformation feature doesn't look that great, doesn't work all too amazing, and it's just not my favorite. Moving up to the sails, these look really good. You got this dragon design that continues throughout these two, and then the symbol back here, Wu's symbol. The thing with these is they have no transformation feature. There's no way to change these. They're just permanently in, like, sailing mode, which is another gripe with this bounty, is that it doesn't have, like, the bounty's main thing of being able to transform into a fly. Well, it kind of does, but they don't really lean into it too much. It's more just a big pirate ship and less of the other bits of the bounty that make the bounty unique from other pirate ships. For the transformation feature of the sails, you just push down right here and they flip up like that. This is exactly what the sails do in the show, and they did it. They recreated it perfectly here. Like, I have no complaints with this. This is my favorite transformation feature by far for any of these. And it works so perfectly. You can go from sailing mode to flying mode, like, with such ease. And I don't know, I feel like there's no funkiness to the system. Like, it just flips up and it flips down. It never gets caught on anything or anything at all. It's just so simple to do, and it looks great. And I love the sail design too. The sail design is the original sail design, which I'd hope it is. It's a legacy set, but yeah, I love this set. It's great. For the thruster transformation on the possession bounty, you pull back here, and the thrusters flip out like that. This is definitely the most creative of the 3 thruster changing features, and while it's not my favorite, I prefer the one on the other ones. This is definitely the most unique, and I like how fluid that motion is right there, but I still prefer the other thrusters. They're simpler, but yeah. The thrusters on the movie bounty are the worst of all. Like, look how tiny these things are, and then all they do is whoop. Right, that's all they can do is oh, and then they fall off like that. So as I said with the sails, like, I feel like the transformation features were not the focus of this. These thrusters kind of feel like an afterthought. Like, they just sort of slapped them on after they had a giant pirate ship built, because the sails don't move and these barely do. So this is a good pirate ship, not the best bounty, because the bounty's like, you kind of need the transformation. And come on, what is this? Come on. The thrusters here are so cool though. You can flip them down like that, right? And they're just so much bigger than the ones in the movie bounty, which is funny because the movie bounty is such a bigger ship. You can flip them down like that. If you watch my review of this, you can see me actually lift it up and do it, but I'm doing handheld camera for this one, so I can't actually lift it up. But you can flip those down even more, and then these cannons come out the front right here. Right, and I think that combined with the sails going up, like that's such a cool transformation feature, and it's integrated really well. And I don't feel like this is too mechanical. Like you see a little bit of a gear right here, but I don't know. I feel like the thrusters look really sleek right here, and I love this. I love how this looks. And it's like a little bike workstation for Nia. It's got some tools, it's got her bike, and it's got this console. The Legacy Bounty is something similar to this, which is a lot simpler, but kind of forgot this was included. It's a fun inclusion if you're playing with this set, but if you're just displaying it, it's not like the most accurate to anything that's shown. It's kind of annoying for this to be there when it could just be more space to hold figures or just make the build over here look more complete. Moving into the main area over here, instead of having like a little thing for Nia in the back here, instead it just has an entire second layer, right? This is an entire second level that you can remove, and this is a whole nother place to pose figures. And despite the dust, I think you can see how much room is in there. Like, this top level essentially has as much room as the Possession Bounty has in all of its interior. And if I open these up, you can see in there a little bit better. There is like a center console that does get in the way of things, but there's still room to fit quite a few figures in there. And you've got the main steering wheel right here, so yeah, I love this. Here is the main interior area of the ship from the outside. I think this, again, looks the best of any of them. It just looks very enclosed, very complete. While it does have this removable feature back here, like the Possession Bounty, it is hidden pretty well. And, like, it doesn't take away from the build at all. Like, there's a little gap right there, but it's not a huge deal, and I think this does look very good. The rest of this can lift up. There's actually a lot of room in here. I believe, if I remember correctly, you could fit 8 figures in the interior here, which doesn't sound like a lot, but with figures with their arms and everything, they can take up a lot of space. The fact that you can fit 8 in here is quite a bit. I believe this is actually more room than the new Legacy Bounty has in its interior. So this is not a bad interior by any means for the Bounty, but that's what it looks like here. Here is the interior of the second layer, which I can also remove, which I like how all this can be removed. Like, that is a really nice feature. Inside here, there's a scroll, there's a little training dummy, some katanas, a little light, another little light, a crossbow, and some more weapons, and a barrel over here. There's also plenty of room to store figures, like, probably not as much as the Possession Bounty has, like, in its main area, but you can still fit quite a bit. But you can still fit quite a bit here, and there's more room all throughout the build to store figures, so I wouldn't say that's a negative that doesn't have a ton of room here. And by not having a ton, I mean, it still has a ton. Like, you could probably fit a good 4 to 6 figures at least in here, probably more. So it's still good. It's just probably not as good as the Possession Bounty in terms of just sheer number of figures. Yeah, and down below the main area, there's more interior. We've got a ladder right here. You have plenty of room to store figures down here. We've got an arrow, more references to the show. We've got an arrow blade, we've got shurikens, we've got vermilion armor. And then on the other side, we've got a sink and a toilet and toilet paper because haha funny, I guess. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, the movie Bounty definitely wins in terms of interior. Like, it's got so much. It took me so long just to show all of this interior. Like, it's it's very impressive. Like, this can't be beat. If we remove this right here, we can get into the interior. I have to say, this is probably the weakest interior around the steering wheel of the three, because the steering wheel is so small, and it's got this console, which I like, but then there's, like, space for, what, maybe 2, 3 figures in here, and then, like, this hidden sword. I don't love this. Like, this isn't great, but the exterior is good, and the interior in here is good as well, so I wish there was a little more going on here, but it's not the worst in the world. And then the bit you take off could be taken apart and extended into this, which is just like another area to play, and it's an area for me to take pictures for my Instagram account. And yeah, it looks good. It's a nice, like, it's a fun way to have interior without actually having to incorporate it into a build. And I know there's supposed to be a cheese slope there. Everyone's commented that it fell off. I have it. I did build it with it on. It just fell off. But yes, I know that's supposed to be there. But yeah, I like this. I don't think it's the most necessary, but it still looks good. And then that's the roof detached. And on the same interior note, you could take this off right here. And there's more interior inside here. And there's more interior inside here. This is good. It's very basic. It's not like as crowded with stuff as the movie Bounty is. And it's about the size as one of the rooms in the movie Bounty, while the movie Bounty has 2 rooms. But I think it's good. It's a good way to store figures. Like, if you want more people on the ship, or if you want to keep all your ninja on the ship and not have them displayed on the deck, like, you could fit them all in here pretty easily, I think. And then you have a ladder on this side. And then you have a ladder on this side for them to climb back out. So I think this is good interior. Again, not as good as the movie Bounty, but still pretty good. Biggest thing with this Bounty, though, is look how flat this guy is. Like, That is not very tall at all, and when we compare it to the other ones, yeah, it's not too great. The movie bounty, you got very big, very tall, very, very high up, especially compared to the possession bounty. It's the one that has the widest hull to the ship. Like, it looks like an actual ship and not like a flat like plank of wood. So I love this. It looks great here, and it's got these little like sandbags too that you can. It's got these like little sandbags too that you can detach and take off. And then as you can see, this one is pretty tall too. Like the hull of the ship is actually a hull and not just flat like the possession bounty. It's not as tall as the movie one, but it's still pretty tall. Like it still feels like a full ship. It doesn't feel like anything has been flattened at all. Here is the back deck to the movie bounty. The other bounties don't really have any form of back deck, but this one definitely does. Got a little telescope here, and then you've got a little bit of room. Like, as you can see, I've got Pixel and Zane here, so you could fit a couple figures. You could probably squeeze 3 in there, but 2 is probably a safer bet. And yeah, they fit comfortably, and it's just a nice extra addition. Like, it's so small, and it's just hidden in the back, but it's nice. This back area, unfortunately, does not have a deck. Like, you could probably, without armor and with, like, I don't know, if you lean them forward a little bit because of the hairpiece, you might be able to fit one figure back here, but there isn't really any back deck space in this one. So that is the 3 Destiny's Bounties that I own. If I ever get the original, I could do another video updating you and comparing it to the other 3, but as it stands, I think it's kind of amazing how different all these sets are. Like, the Possession Bounty seems to focus on play features, and the Movie Bounty focuses on aesthetic, while the Legacy Bounty focuses on accuracy to the show. And I think they all have their positives and their negatives, but if you couldn't tell, the Possession Bounty is definitely my least favorite. I loved that set when it came out, but compared to the other 2, it's just not very good compared to the other 2. Now that we have the other 2 now, it just feels kind of lackluster. But with the other 2, it's hard picking a favorite. I definitely think the Movie Bounty is the better set, but the Ninjago fan in me, who's been watching the show since 2011, I like the Legacy Bounty. I just think it's accurate to the show. It's got the fun transformation feature, and there's so much love about it. It's not as big and it's not as extravagant as the Movie Bounty, but it's more accurate. And I don't know. I like the color scheme. I like the dragon head. It's just better in my opinion. I like it more. I think maybe it's just because it's new. Maybe my opinion will change over time. But I don't know. That's how I feel right now. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What was your favorite bounty and what was your least favorite bounty? Now that you've seen them all compared, do you think you're going to pick up the Legacy Bounty, or do you think you're going to stick with the ones you have, or do you think or if you don't have one yet, are you going to seek out one of the other ones to buy instead? Personally, I think the Legacy one is good enough that, like, if you don't have the movie one, like, don't pay, like, aftermarket price for it, just buy the Legacy one, because the Legacy one is very good. And if you have the movie one, you don't need the Legacy one either. Like, you could get it and you will still enjoy it, but you're not missing too much if you don't have the Legacy one. But if you only have the Possession one, I'd say it's totally justified to buy the new one, because the new one is, I feel like it's such an upgrade, while the Movie Bounty is just more of a matter of preference as to which one you prefer. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and subscribe if you're new. I post LEGO videos every single day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. And I think that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.